multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Marvel Mondays. Yeah, this is your host, Tex-Mex Morty. Oh, shit. Well, there you go. This is your host, Tex-Mex Morty, and joining me today, of course, is my awesome, fantastic co-host, Mr. Oyman. Say what's up, Mr. Oyman.
What's up, Mr. Oyman?
You got me right as I was going to say, but don't say literally, what's up, Mr. Oyman. You beat me to it. I walked right into that one, and
You sure did.
I almost caught myself, but you beat me.
Oi.
All right. And of course, joining us with us is, and I hear him right now, is Mr. Slucius XL. How are you doing, Slucius?
Slucius!
What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing here? I'm taking a shit.
Ah, jeez. Starting the episode.
Oh, great.
Oh, man. Starting off strong. Such family-friendly content here.
It's just some wholesome family content that we can all just gather around to.
All right. And over there, giggling over there, is our friendly neighborhood resident, Mr. JT. What's up, JT? You been doing all right?
What's up, guys? I'd like to give a shout out to my dad. He is listening. First time listener. Hopefully he'll continue listening each and every Monday. So give a shout out. And also, Miss Cap, you want to say a few words?
Hey. Yep, shout out to my dad, too. And a first-time listener. I hope he enjoys it as much as we enjoy talking.
He's going to be like, well, we're already starting off bad. No, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. No, I hope he does enjoy the show. What's it called? Because we do have a little bit of a fun show tonight. We have wait, does somebody not have headphones on? Is that you, Slucius?
I have headphones.
Oh, okay. I hear myself coming out of somebody's speaker.
Yeah, I hear that. I disconnected to see if it's me, but it's not.
Alright. Well, I mean, it's very faint, so hopefully it won't be an issue. I'm just getting, like, PTSD flashbacks to last week when it all had echoes, and it was all terrible. Very bad day. I literally had to spend, like, the whole weekend trying to fix the audio. Or not weekend, like Friday and Saturday trying to fix the audio for that one to get it acceptable to be back on. And I'm glad I could salvage it, though, because it was a great episode. Fantastic conversations we had there. It would have been a shame to just lose it all completely. But anyways, that'll make today more interesting, actually, because due to having to do that and also get our shit ready to be uploaded to, like, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everything like that, it should be on within the next couple of days. I hit the upload. It just takes like 24 hours, I believe, for the software to allow it to distribute to all those places. So be on the lookout for that, listeners. If you can't make it to a full YouTube stream or you don't want to use too much data, you could probably find us there. But it'll make, like I was saying, it'll make the episode a lot more interesting because due to having to work all that, I didn't quite get to do one of the two topics that we're going to be today. So planned today, we have our ranking of Phase 2, similar to how what we did a couple weeks ago with our top picks for Phase 1. This week, as well as doing that, we're starting a new segment within, I guess, this segment. And it's going to be Marvel Makeovers. It's where we take a not so desirable or well-received movie show or anything like that, and we give it a bit of a makeover. And this week we chose Howard the Duck. So I didn't get a chance to do that project that much, so I just kind of off the top of my head started coming up with stuff. So it should be interesting. It's going to be like a weird improv Mad Lib from my end because I still want to
Wait,
participate.
You should have named this episode "The Quackening."
The quackening.
The
You
quackening.
should
Alright.
have named it "The Quackening."
And
That
I
works.
see, it looks like, let me see. It looks like Mr. Johnny Joestar was actually able to join us. Could you hear us?
Yeah. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, glad you were able to come in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was trying to figure this thing out and I guess I just had to connect to my Wi-Fi. So that was a bit embarrassing. I don't think I've ever felt like an old man until right now. I was like, can't get the darn thing to work and I'm just
What
like,
is this?
I know. Oh man. So embarrassing.
It's all good, dude.
It's all good.
You're here.
But yeah.
All right.
Okay,
So,
well,
has
good to
everybody
go.
introduced themselves already? Hello? Could you guys still hear me?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
All right. I was about to freak out. Again, PTSD from last week, but all right. So definitely let's get rolling. Co-host Mr. Oyman, would you like to do the honors of picking what should we do first?
All right, so let's see. Our two topics were the Marvel Makeover of Howard the Duck and our Phase 2 rankings. I think we should start with our Phase 2 rankings. Johnny Joestar, why don't you lead us off with what you would say is your favorite installment of Phase 2 of the MCU?
Okie dokie. So, I did have a bit of an issue because I couldn't really choose in between Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy. So you got like from Phase 2, you got Ant-Man, Avengers, Age of Ultron, the Guardians, Winter Soldier, Thor, Man 3. But to be honest, with just those two, Ant-Man and Guardians, they were kind of like neck and neck for me. I mean, I did enjoy, Age of Ultron just because it was the second part of like, of the Avengers, but I just really enjoyed the fact that it was, one of my favorite actors like Paul Rudd and Chris Pratt, because I've seen him in other stuff too. So Paul Rudd, like, he was in and I Love You Man, and like to actually see him in like as a superhero, I don't know if I was gonna expect, like as what Chris Evans did, where he was just like all goofy as Johnny Storm. And with this, like, I mean, I was actually very impressed because he was like semi-serious, but then like he was also goofy at the same time. Um, and then like with Guardians, I mean, Chris Pratt, seeing him like as Andy from like Parks and Rec, and then at the time, like, I didn't really think, I don't know what he was gonna do too. So if he was gonna be goofy, then like you see the trailer, he is kind of goofy. So, I mean, I was just like, oh, this is the smart version, Lucky, traveling across the universe with an Infinity Stone. So I was super excited to see that.
Yeah, I could agree
Very
there.
cool, very cool. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm actually right there with you. I'm neck and neck with those two being my two favorites. If I had to absolutely pick one, I might side with the Guardians of the Galaxy just a bit, but I gotta say, Ant-Man was very impressed with how good they were able to make a movie based off Ant-Man, especially given how it had a lot of like production issues with Edgar Wright originally directing and then switching off directors. Usually in those kind of situations, you get a kind of shaky project, but I thought they pulled it off really, really well, and it's one of my favorites to go back to every time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I mean, but like also like I know they did like a few years later where he did I don't know if you guys ever seen it on Netflix where he's like a clone. And like I would like definitely wouldn't have mind seeing him in a serious role instead of like acting all
I know what you're
goofy.
talking about.
Which
Yeah.
clone
I watched
movie?
about half of that show. I gotta finish it though. It's like
So what show?
it's called something with myself. Living with myself. Is that it?
Never
Yeah, I
heard of
think
it.
so.
Something with myself. I actually really liked it, but I just never got around to finishing it like I have with a lot of shows.
Oh
But it
yeah.
was good. He was good in it. All right. How about JT? What is your favorite?
This was a very difficult decision because I have three. I have Age of Ultron, which I considered. I mean, I enjoyed the second Avengers movie because it kind of sets up what happened in Phase 3 and kind of beyond with like all the visions that everybody else had and the power dynamic between like Hulk and Black Widow, and there's a lot of like cool things associated with that film that a lot of people don't appreciate because Ultron is kind of a he's kind of a not so great villain besides Thanos, so to speak. He was kind of weak in this film, but I thought he did a really good job. Ant-Man is also up there because, again, like what John Joseph said, like Paul Rudd, he's famous for his comedians and I Love You Man and the 40-year-old version, but he kind of put his superhero chops and also with his comedic presence on screen with, so with Michael Douglas and the whole crew, and Michael Pena also has a good like comedic stance to him associated with Paul Rudd. So Ant-Man's up there. Also have Guardians of the Galaxy. Again, the soundtrack to that movie is unbelievable. Like no doubt about it. And the whole action sequences and the whole like will they won't they between Gamora and Star-Lord, which is great and crazy. And also, Bradley Cooper as Rocket and also Dave Bautista as Drax. Oh, just brings it in each scene day in and day out. But if I had to choose one, I have to go with Guardians just because it's the soundtrack to me. It's the comedic humor. It's the action. It's the whole like him becoming a god at the end, so to speak. I kind of really like, oh wow, so we can see where his origins come from. So I have to choose one, Guardians. But those are my top three involving Phase 2.
Yeah, those are pretty good picks. And what about you, Miss Cat?
So for me, it's definitely Captain America: Winter Soldier. It just there's something about that film that just like speaks to me. Like,
Shocker.
okay, yes, I know. My name is Captain America.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
In her defense,
Wait.
You know-
I just had to
All right.
say it.
You
I
don't
was just
say.
like,
I know. But I like but this movie it's literally my number one movie like out of all of them. It's just this movie just had like everything.
Mm-hmm.
It had heart, it had, like loss, found lost as well. Like the relationship between the budding relationship between, Steve and Bucky, and then you also
How
have
about that bromance?
don't even get me
Oh, yeah.
started on that.
Yeah.
You
are
made
It's because it's America's ass. That's why.
Yeah,
It's because it's America's ass. That's the reason.
don't even get me started on that. That I can spend all day on that, like their budding relationship. But also like the introduction of Sam Wilson as Falcon, his role, and like all the relationships that are in this movie just work so well together, and just the action sequences, the suspense, it's like the epitome of like everything. The espionage, the discovery of Hydra and Shield the entire time, like knowing Bucky's alive and him going through all this, thinking like, Steve just going through this, crisis where he's just like, who do I trust? Who do I really, who's a true friend and who's not? And honestly, by the end of it, I've watched this movie so many times I can quote it. So it has to be like Winter Soldier for me.
Okay, and for
Dang
second
good.
runner?
Second runner is Age of Ultron.
Ooh, bold choice.
Hey,
Yes,
they're both very good.
I convinced Josh about Age of Ultron because I know he won't say it, but I was like, I told him, it's like if you watch Age of Ultron, it sets up so much for the next few movies.
But
And
No, his was that I actually enjoyed Age of Ultron a little bit more than you did, right?
No.
Bullshit.
I convinced you about all this stuff.
Yep,
Bit of
Miss
sibling
Cap is
rivalry
just
going
like
on.
Miss Cap is literally just
I
like,
see.
and then
I'm coming
JT's
for
over
ya.
there.
I lied.
So you have chosen.
I mean,
death.
like, what's kind of funny though, like one of the biggest things though, it was literally when they were all just like in the table, just trying to pick up the hammer to see who would be worthy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was so iconic because you're just like, oh, I want to see this. I want to see this. And then like you got War Machine and you got Tony Stark like trying to
When
like,
he's like,
are you lifting it?
Trying to
Are
pick
you
it up.
lifting it? I'm doing
Yeah.
it.
he's like, come on, represent. Come on, represent.
Oh, and also don't forget, like in Ultron, we got introduced Scarlet Witch's or Wanda's love interest, Vision.
Yep.
And Scarlet Witch.
Jarvis in the Flash, so that's something,
We
right?
also
Yeah,
got
yeah.
introduced to Wanda in general too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it did.
Mm-hmm. There's
Yeah,
a lot
with his
of
brother
lot of
that
things
got
were-
shot.
a lot of things
Okay,
that were
Quicksilver
introduced in that
deserved
film
better.
that paid off later on.
It was like the funniest thing I've ever seen, though, because like I mean, I did not feel bad. Like I was like, "Dude, you what? Like you could have just like
dude,
pushed them
joke
away.
was so bad.
Yeah, like, you could have pushed that away. That it's kind of that. That's what kind of bummed me out about
Yeah.
that movie. Like I liked it. Don't get me wrong, I liked it. The only thing was, it's like Quicksilver. Like what the hell? Like what happened to you? Like you're supposed to be the dude that's like super fast, and then like the way that they did the X-Men, so perfect. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
amazingly well done with that. But
Did
then like
hope that
here
we
he
got the
is
X-Men
like,
version right beforehand too. Right before the
I know, and
MCU
then
version.
like, and then when like
Beat
he
them to
just
the
gets like shot. Oh man, no! What did you do?
He failed at his one
Oh,
job
man.
of being fast. That's why. Dude has super.
I mean, he got there in time. He got there in time. It's just he just didn't.
Yeah, the
I
wrong
guess
time.
he doesn't know how to I guess he doesn't know how to multitask. That's the problem. This
Not like
version, he doesn't
born
know how to
with those powers.
multitask.
Yeah, dude, that's
He got
super
them
speed and he
later
still
on.
manages to get shot.
He's only had them for a brief amount of time, whereas the X-Men Quicksilver was born with them. So that's
Wah,
the way I
wah.
look at it.
That's all I hear.
Oh well.
All right, whatever.
And then Quicksilver's
No, I
out
guess
there
not.
just.
I never thought of it that way. That's actually a pretty good point. I never thought of it
Because they
that
were
way
only
because
they were only
I mean-
experimented on like a year before Age of Ultron took place, so they were
Yeah,
kind of new
yeah.
with the powers.
yeah, but still though, I mean, he could have at least like pushed
didn't
them
see
away
that
or
coming?
something. And the funnier thing though too was Kick-Ass. Like, I mean, how funny was that? Like, he grew up all the way to be Quicksilver, and then he just ends up dying at the end.
Dude,
So,
like,
what
and then
happens
his-
to Kick-Ass?
and then his-
Spoiler alerts.
And then his friend is the one who ends up being Quicksilver longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they take him out in the second one though too. I was so bummed.
Yeah, they
Title
did, and they
from
took
him.
Peter Evans out. Anyways, have you
what a
gone,
crap
Slucius?
Freaking joke.
Slucius, did you go already?
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I think Thor 2 absolutely slaps. You guys aren't on that
Okay.
shit, but I am. And Iron Man 3, yep, that's another some good shit that slaps.
All right,
too.
I'll give you Iron Man
yeah.
3.
Those two absolutely.
Oh yeah, I have to do.
Oh my
You gotta
god.
enjoy some Tony
no,
Stank.
hell no to the both of those.
You don't like
Absolute
those?
worst trash, like the worst trash ever.
They
Dude.
are far from the worst trash.
Yeah, the
Somebody
worst-
cooking?
Far from it.
My God.
There are worse movies out there.
Yeah,
I think
Iron
Thor
Man
2 is
3
the worst movie.
Like when it's called Iron Man 3,
Yeah,
like, it's just
Eternals.
Like, I got out of there and it's just like this means nothing. This is just like nothing. like it's a waste.
So which
Okay,
ones
no,
were
okay,
your?
So here's the thing. I think to my defense, Iron Man 3 is kind of a PTSD arc for Tony because remember, like Avengers, like Age of Ultron, like Tony did a lot in those movies, and he went out to outer space, and in the first Avengers, and he did a lot to
He
kind of
sacrificed himself.
yeah, he did. And so, like in Iron Man
Yeah.
3, he carried all this weight. And so, like, he was depressed and everything that's been going on. And so he decided to,
Yeah.
take a moment from himself in the snow and
Yeah,
try,
but-
and like he destroyed
I
all
don't
his
know.
suits.
I
No
actually
one helps
think
him. None of the other Avengers help him, like going through all that shit.
no. What
No,
I don't
no,
understand.
It's a solo
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it's
no
a
one
solo
helps
movie.
him.
What I don't understand, JT,
So his
is
house
you
is
talk
getting,
about
like,
his
blown up.
character arc, and that makes no sense because that movie gets directly undone in Avengers:
yeah.
Age of Ultron. As soon as he's like,
Yep.
"I'm
That's
done
what I'm
making
saying,
suits of
okay.
armor. I'm done doing this," and
That's
then
why it means
he chucks
nothing.
he chucks the thing into the ocean, and all of a sudden he's like, "You know what? Never mind. Let me just start making suits again. Let me do
Yeah,
this."
okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me
yeah.
Uno reverse card that.
Okay, but hold on. The way I say it is that he was saying goodbye to making suits that he kept a whole bunch of, and he worked and focused on just making one suit that he could improve upon. Which is why we eventually got nanotech Iron Man.
No, but even
Yeah.
then, from
Doesn't
Age of
matter.
Ultron to Infinity War, he went from like Mark 40 all the way to like 80 something, which means he was still up to his usual self.
But he
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
making
Okay.
like a whole bunch of suits that he was keeping. Like keeping up a whole bunch of space. He got rid of all of them.
Yep, that's a good
Whoop-de
point.
fuck.
Kept the
Fucking do.
Hulkbuster.
Yeah, that's true. He did keep the.
Yeah, he just
The
stored them
Hulkbuster.
somewhere in like
Iconic.
a different country or something like that. He just was going around telling Pepper Potts that, "Oh yeah, no, I changed. I done this and that," and then he just turned around and
lied.
And then
Yeah,
he creates
and
Ultron.
then- Yeah.
Yes, but no.
Shocker.
Yes, but no.
Anyway, Slucious, you talked about which ones you don't like. The task is which
Yeah.
ones did you like?
Like,
We got to go with America's ass over here. Cap suit.
hey.
I thought you didn't like Captain America.
Glorious. Okay, but I like the second movie. Doesn't mean I like the guys from that, but like that's just. It's
It is good. It is very good.
Yeah.
It is
It is so
Okay,
good.
I can
It
admit
is.
it's good. Like I
Mhm.
can admit it's.
I remember Tex-Mex Morty and I went and saw that at a pre-screening, and we were pretty.
Oh, we
impressed
did, didn't
with-
we?
Just like we saw it before. Like we had heard anything about it, so we didn't really know if it was going to be as good as the first one. And I think you and I both agreed it was definitely up to par. I don't know if. I
Oh, it
liked
was a
about
lot
the
better
same
than I
as the
thought it
first
was.
one.
I personally,
but out of
But compared to the first one, though, how did you feel about it?
I actually liked it. I thought it was an improvement over the
yeah.
first, and
Right?
that's saying something because I loved the first one, but
Yeah.
it just
yeah.
it
thought-
took the
I put 'em
character
on
from
par
just
with each
being
other.
fun and cool like the first movie did to just being badass. Like they just
Was,
improved.
yeah.
Go on, Lucius. So you're saying about Cap 2?
And I was just saying that, like, out of the pile of trash that is Phase 2 Marvel, it's like, it's the diamond in the rough. That's what it
I don't know. Ant-Man and
Surprisingly.
They make up half of Phase 2, and they're just as good as. Damn.
That's what
Yeah.
I meant today.
No, I actually agree with Lucius to a certain extent though. Most of Phase 2 is like filler, I
Okay,
feel like.
Age,
It's
Age
filler,
of Ultron
yeah, it's not really
is pretty
serviceable, it's
important,
just-
as we've seen. Age of Ultron was pretty important.
Being
Ant-Man
important
pretty
doesn't
dope.
make it good though.
I disagree. I thought it was good and it was important.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I it's not the worst
Yeah.
movie, but Age of Ultron's a little bit rough.
It is a
Even
little
I'll tell you,
even in
I'll tell you
hindsight.
what's more important. I'll tell you what's more important. Yeah, it really pointed out that Joss Whedon's a shit director.
Okay.
I mean, you ain't wrong there.
Yeah,
That-
ain't
Yeah.
wrong there. And that was what was to come later on. Like with Justice League, so that was just a bad sign.
Yeah, but Justice League was actually
Okay.
bad, and
Tell
it
you
wasn't
what.
his movie to begin with.
And Age of Ultron was like the red flag. That's what you get. This is like looking into the future. Where you were going to get more from him.
Well, yeah, but
That's why that
freaking
movie's important.
what's it
I will
called?
say he
Because it
definitely,
points that up.
he
Oh,
definitely
shit.
doubled down on his Whedonisms in the second movie from the first one. I'll agree
It's
with
so
you
bad.
there.
It is so bad.
Whedon's
All
the type of
jokes
guy
are
that is
cringe.
good when you have him in check. If you just let him like go full reign, most of this shit
Yeah,
is not that
Go do
great.
Buffy. Yeah, go do
Well,
Buffy.
the Buffy's
that's
not
what you
bad. Firefly is
Yeah.
great. Alien Resurrections.
Trinity.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Hey, he helped write Toy Story, and that's one of my favorites of all time.
Did he
For real?
really?
He did?
Yeah,
He
did
did.
Really?
He wrote the screenplay for it.
No way.
again, when he has something to work with and they don't give him full control, he does pretty good. It's you just got to keep him in
I
check.
thought they gave him full control for Age of Ultron. That was definitely a Feige movie, mostly.
A Fuki.
As long as he has a friend inside of him. I mean, a
Oh, pause.
Yep.
Pause. Jeez.
Definitely got plenty of those.
Oh
Hey.
man. Come
You're
on.
not wrong there.
We got family listening on here, Mr. Joestar. Come on.
sorry.
Sorry.
Wait, we're gonna try to keep this
Guys,
family picture.
Why are you the way that you are?
Sorry, Josh and Rachel's dad.
Nah, it's all right. That's what you get when you come to the Scream Crusaders. So you just get a bunch of friends just going at it like if they were just having a normal conversation. But anyways, did you have a runner-up, Lucius, for a second one?
I don't really know. I don't like these. I don't like these.
That's okay.
No.
All right.
No.
Did you already go, Mr. Oyman? I know you kind of.
No, I did. It was pretty much exactly what Johnny Joe started.
Okay, because I knew you chimed in with that and you said it was basically that, but I wasn't sure if that was like your final set.
That's my final.
All right, so I guess it's my turn then. Me, it would have been Captain America: The Winter Soldier if it wasn't for Guardians actually succeeding in putting out my fears of if it would be good as a movie, and if James Gunn had what it took to pull it off. What the hell? Is somebody cooking?
Sorry, I was grabbing a glass.
Oh.
Clumsy
Anyway.
pizza.
Anyways, yeah, no, but I like you mentioned, I completely forgot we actually pre-screened what's it called, Captain America 2, but I do remember that I was not the biggest fan of the Ed Brubaker run of the same name. Wait, does someone have a TV on?
Background sound.
Yeah, who has a
Someone's talking
TV
in
on?
the background.
It's someone's.
Did
Hey,
you have-
Johnny Joestar, is that you?
Mm-mm.
There's someone talking in the
Oh.
background. Josh?
Yeah,
Josh,
Josh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my mom. She's being loud.
Okay.
I was wondering, I'm like,
Okay,
what is going on?
good.
Okay.
I thought somebody was
Yeah.
listening to a TV show or something.
Amber Heard trial. That's what I thought it was.
Oh,
Oh, man.
Get,
Oh,
get
man.
that out of here.
Why are you the way that you are?
But
Beautiful.
back to what I was saying. So yeah, but that one was awesome. It took the source material that I did enjoy. It was a well written thing, but I did not quite like. As far as what they did with the characters and such like that, not my personal opinion of what I would have done with them. But when it came to the movie adaptation of it, they actually adapted it well enough to where it felt like in line with that source material, but it elevated it and made choices I personally would have done. And it also just had some big ramifications in the MCU, like the whole S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually Hydra and everything like that. And it also developed a more of a characterization for I was gonna say Scarlet Witch, but Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. And it showed a side that she up until that point didn't show, and she was Captain America was a perfect character to kind of introduce that side of her in the MCU. But my top pick was 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy. As many of y'all know, and I made it pretty clear on this podcast that I am a big fan of the cosmic Marvel stuff and the DNA run of like Annihilation, Guardians of the Galaxy, Nova, and all that. And while it wasn't like as cool and direct translation from the source material, I liked what they did with everyone. They did make Star-Lord a little bit too jokey for me, but I had just watched Parks and Rec from beginning to end for the first time around that time that movie came out. And I don't know, I just had a soft spot for Chris Pratt. He makes me chuckle. He reminds me a lot of Mr. Oyman. He's just overall over the top silly guy, and I don't know. I guess it's just that connection. that helped me enjoy the character in the movie a lot more. But overall, it was just a fun ride. And I mean, how cool was it to see a proper adaptation of a freaking raccoon in a tree, and the raccoon's like shooting up the place while the tree's doing circles and slamming his like vine arm on people. And I don't know, that was just they made a silly concept and just went with it and made it super badass.
Yeah, he was all over Vin Diesel.
Wait, what?
Right now, man.
Just what?
Yeah, what the?
No, I said. I said.
Oh, he was all over Vin Diesel. I for a second I was like, Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
I forgot that he does Groot. Oh, and that's another thing. I like the character so much that during the my first viewing when we were watching it, what's it called? They managed to get me to feel really sad when, and I knew he was gonna come back, but it still
That
made
version
it.
is dead though.
Yeah, but it was still really sad whenever you saw this tree entity that could only speak 3 words, and somehow James Gunn managed to take those 3 words, and you know exactly basically what his sentiment was when he's changed the word from I to we. And I don't know, it was very, like, I even got a little bit teary-eyed. I was like that guy from Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs, when he's like, enough to make... Yeah, enough to make a grown man cry, but not this man. Yeah, but
get in.
But what's it called? No, like that's how. That's one thing I will give to James Gunn that he did do in the second one. But back to the first one was he somehow make these characters really lovable, and even though you just spend like an hour and a half with them up until that point, that you actually care and fear that they might take them away, type of deal. So it was a fun ride. It was cool. It was silly. It was impactful. I loved the characters, and that's why I personally, no matter how badass Cap 2 was, I would have to give it to Guardians of the Galaxy.
But I mean, also, like, who would have known that like Bradley Cooper would have been such a good Rocket too?
Yeah. Not me. I actually had my doubts.
You were doubtful of that one, Alex. I remember. You were like, "Oh, it's not a good fit." I was like, "Yeah, just wait, just wait."
Well, I was doubtful of the whole movie because those characters, again, that's my favorite team. Around that time, I was scared to see once the movie was announced how they would pull them off, because it could have been very hit or miss. And
I knew it would be great. I could just tell.
Well, I did like James Gunn's previous work.
I went with my gut. Yeah, I went with my gut, and I could just tell it ended up. I'm surprised it like ended up being as, I suppose, popular as it was. Like, it really took over the public in a way that I wasn't expecting.
Oh yeah, when I was working at the grocery store, all my coworkers were like, that shit looks stupid. That looks terrible. And
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and that was after we watched the IMAX preview. Remember that I dragged you to?
Oh yeah.
That was actually.
But also didn't regret it.
Yeah, no, that was badass. It was only like 15 minutes, but it put my fears to rest. And then I kept talking to the people at the grocery store who were calling it bullshit and stuff like that. I'm like, no, it's gonna be really good. And they're like, I doubt it. And then after the movie came out, most of them went to watch it like 2 or 3 more times. This dude that was very vocal on how stupid he thought it was ended up going to go see it 4 times. And he's like, once I go back to my mom's house in the other state, I'll probably go take her to it.
Yeah.
But
I know my dad and sister saw it a couple times, which they don't typically go to the same movie in theaters multiple times like I do. So it's a testament to how good it is. A lot of people really went and the fact that the other thing that's impressive about that movie is that week after it came out was the Ninja Turtles movie, which like took the top spot at the box office that weekend. Then every weekend after, Guardians went back up to the #1 spot.
yeah, because that other movie was trash. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, I love the Ninja Turtles, and that did the opposite of what what's it called? Guardians did to the source material. It like completely.
Michael Bay's name's on it. You know?
Yeah, they just shat on that franchise. I'm glad it's over. Even the second one that was slightly better was still dog shit.
What y'all talking about? That thing flat. It was so good.
Nah, shut up. I'm gonna kick you off the server if you don't stop with that.
The second one wasn't
Buff
that
ass
bad
Shrek.
for what it was.
So they are like buff ass Shrek.
No, move on. Let's move on. No Ninja Turtles. No Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles.
never mind.
No Ninja Turtles. Well, it would go on to like a 3-hour podcast that has nothing to do with Marvels at that point. But I guess we've all said our things. So what is the? Have you been keeping track, Mr. Oyman? What's the vote count? To a specific movie.
We've had, I believe, so I know Johnny Joestar, it was kind of a draw between the Guardians and the Ant-Man. Is that right? Or did you have one that you sided more towards Johnny Joestar?
I would actually just agree with basically just the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I mean, because like
It's so
the
good.
cast and everything was yes, it's so good. And then even like I'm really
Music.
adamant about wrestlers as
Turning into
as actors.
Yeah.
Yes, because like I mean like it takes them a bit, and I've seen like Triple H in like some kiddie movie with Buzz or something like that. I don't know, but then like you got hope because you end up seeing like The Rock. He actually had some crappy movies. Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, and then he went up, and then he went back down.
But then he finally like hit the number with the rest of the few. Same thing with like what's that dude? That really lame Marines
Cena?
guy.
John Cena.
Oh yeah, John Cena.
John Cena's
yes,
great.
He's got hit and misses.
He's got more charisma than The Rock, in my opinion, and he like in Peacemaker and Suicide Squad and some of the other movies, he's fantastic.
Peacemaker.
No. Yeah, like do not get me wrong. He in the beginning it was like a miss. And then finally the same thing with The Rock, like he finally got his like good movies in, and then like he actually became I wouldn't really say a superhero. It's what is that? Like a supervillain?
Anti-hero.
Anti-hero.
Yeah, well, everybody
So,
has to have
like,
their Scorpion Kings.
So you
Oh
didn't
yeah, but
so
like
you didn't like Scorpion King?
Oh no, it's a great fun
Oh
movie,
my
but it's dog
God.
shit when you actually look at it subjectively.
I love Scorpion King.
It's Moon Knight.
I don't know about
He's
y'all.
on the.
You know what? It's
He's gonna be on the
Moon Knight.
second season of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gee.
I don't know about y'all though, but I think that both Cena and Dave Bautista have shown stronger acting chops than The Rock.
Oh,
He's kind of the
100%.
exact sa-
100%.
he's the exact same.
Yeah.
Now,
The Rock has gotten better, but he's the same.
He's exactly the same. In
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just improved on the
Literally,
type of
yeah.
movies he's
Everything.
made
He's
and the
played
range
himself.
he's had. He's improved a little, but he doesn't have a huge range when compared to those other two.
Cena's impressed me quite a bit lately, but
Oh,
Batista
Peacemaker, he was
got
great in
lucky
that.
with like his first big movie being Guardians, and like everything he's been in since then is for the most part been like more of a hit than a miss. I know not everything has been a hit, but more so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The problem with Bautista is he seems to be very underused compared in every movie that's not Guardians.
Yeah, that's true.
Like 007, Blade Runner 2049, all those, and some other ones. He just kind of shows up. He gives a great performance, and then like gets 5 minutes of screen time within impressing
Dude,
amount
he
of screen
should have
time,
been,
and then
he should have been the baddie in 007 like that. I think that was
Yeah,
a
the
lot
main bad
better.
guy.
Yeah.
And not have no lines.
Anyways, but getting back on track, I guess. So we have three for Guardians, and then
2 for Winter Soldier, and
2
then
for-
Josh H. What was your pick for number 1? Because you named 3.
I had
Oh.
Guardians as the top.
Okay,
so
so
4
4.
for Guardians.
All right, because what I'm gonna do is we're gonna eventually, once we get through all the Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, and then Phase 4 / the Disney Plus stuff, I think we'll start getting like the top one of each of those and kind of put them head to head and see and rank it that way.
Okay. So we got Captain America, and then we have
Guardians
of
beat
the
it out.
Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians got like
Uh-huh.
4-3 or 4-2.
As much as I love Ant-Man, and I do love Ant-Man, I do gotta
Yeah.
go Guardians.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's just there's just more people though too to enjoy. I mean, like
Well-
Ant-Man, there was only just like 3 because like he had this funny crew, and I forgot that Hispanic dude's name because he's like in a bunch of.
Oh,
other stuff,
Luis.
too.
I love Luis. Michael Pena.
Yeah. Oh man. Yes, man.
My wife
And he
hates him.
does,
I
like-
think he's hilarious.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys ever watched like American Dad, but he's like one of the characters in there, and he's like He does this little voice like this.
Wait,
Oh,
wait.
it's so hot.
Which character is he? Because I watched that show, but I didn't know he was in it.
He's I
Is
think
that
it's like
Lily?
Louise too, which is funny. But he helps Stan find like a hot tub and
Lucius, is
like
that your
yeah.
dog?
Oh shit! Yeah. That is him. Yeah, I remember.
Lucius, is
that
that Michael or
episode.
Lily?
It's I don't know. It's Stella.
Ah, Stella. Oh,
So,
damn dog always nut checks me every time I go to his house.
Yeah.
It's like
Very
100%
constant.
accuracy. It always manages to hit it right there every time.
That's what she does. That's how she greets people. Like nut check. Kaboom.
Anyways, get back on track. Did we lose someone? No, we got everyone here. All right, so let's move on to our. I didn't make a fancy graphic again. I was trying to fix the audio from the last episode. If I didn't have to do that, we would have had another like kind of like what I did with the Fight Night, where it transfers over to another screen. But we'll have that next time. But for this time, let's go on ahead and let's go over to Marvel Makeover. Let's have you start, my co-host, Mr. Oyman. Let's see what you would do with the Howard the Duck, the quackening.
Howard the Duck, quackening. Okay. So yeah, Howard the Duck was for whatever reason, was one of the very few Marvel characters to get a movie before almost anyone else. Ironically,
Wasn't he actually the first Marvel hero to get an actual like full feature film?
He was one of the first. I don't know if he was absolutely the first, but at least to get a movie, maybe, because I know like we had the Hulk TV show, the Japanese Spider-Man show, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like feature film.
Yeah, as far as feature film, I do believe he was definitely the first or one of the first, but do think that given how early on it was when they did his film, they kind of, it was George Lucas was like, you know what, I want to make a kids movie, and then in the beginning of the movie we get a duck taking a bath with duck tits. So it's like,
yeah, that was not a kids movie. What the fuck was George Lucas smoking?
I don't know what was going on there, but if
he's
I
on some like other.
So if I were to do a makeover of Howard the Duck, I think you would have to do it as a Disney Plus show, and my pitch for it would be Howard the Duck going kind of throughout the multiverse, because he does kind of do that in the comics. He does travel different universes.
Real quick. Let me chime in real quick before you get too deep into it. I forgot to mention the task here was, what's it called? There was two options. So you could either take the 80s movie and just change up some stuff here and there, or the panel members were able to also just completely scrap it, basically go into the quantum realm, go back in time, punch George Lucas in the face, and never get him to make that, and then make something new. So Mr. Oyman has chosen the latter, and he's doing something completely new. So carry on, Mr. Oyman.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to say whether you would make. I mean, whether the '80s film existed or not. I would for a new iteration of Howard the Duck. Obviously, we got a kind of taste of him in the Guardians films, so use that version of him that Seth Green voices, and you could basically I'd have each episode have him traveling through a new universe and meeting different Marvel characters until at the end. You hear me?
Yes.
Some background noise. Sounds like crunching.
Yeah, who's doing ASMR around here? Who's doing it?
Is that you, Lucius?
Oh.
Sorry, I think it was me moving my mic.
Okay.
All right. Well, you could always mute yourself if you're not currently talking.
Yeah, that might be helpful. So yeah, basically a quick elevator pitch. Howard the Duck is going through going through the multiverse. He's visiting different iterations of Marvel heroes that we're familiar with. Maybe if you used it as a Disney Plus show, you could introduce some new ones that we haven't gotten to yet, kind of like how Multiverse of Madness did with like Reed Richards and the Maria Rambeau, whatever her name is, Captain Marvel. And Howard the Duck is a little bit of a selfish, self-centered character, so I would have the overall arc be, your typical hero's journey of him discovering that, the whole universe doesn't just revolve around him. And essentially through visiting different universes and meeting other heroes and what makes them admirable, he would kind of learn to become one himself. I'd probably make it a 6 to 8 episode Disney Plus series, and with the hopes of having him be a bigger part later on.
Would it be TV-14, or would you go for a more kid-friendly route?
I wouldn't go as like. I'd probably go as slightly more kid-friendly than the Howard the Duck movie, but I would have a little bit more edge to it than, like, say, What If had. What If was fairly kid-friendly, but then again, even at times, What If had a little bit more mature content throughout. So probably around the same level of
Zombies.
kid-friendliness. Yeah, there's the one with the zombies, or the Avengers getting killed off, or Doctor Strange destroying the universe.
Yeah.
Probably put it. Honestly, I would have it kind of similar to tone as Loki was, or even Moon Knight.
Mm.
So probably a little bit darker. Definitely not as like kid friendly as like I'm imagining Miss Marvel will be.
Oh man.
And yeah, that would be my take on it. I can hear you now. Ooh, eat. All right, Slucius. What is your Howard the Duck take?
You know what would have been cool? Like, it probably would have been like better if they waited to like, say, like the 90s and just do like a kind of like a raunchy 2D animated show. Just make like a Ren and Stimpy. Just like,
man.
Just make like an edgy cartoon with him, and it's just all his like shenanigans, him around like the Marvel, again, like the Marvel multiverse, and like all people he runs into. And yeah, like there could be like a lot of adult jokes in there that are kind of like played off. Like, that's how I would have liked to seen it.
I think it would work better as an animated thing than having a live action midget in a costume.
Yeah, just do like a Ren and Stimpy, or like a Cow Chicken, like like one of those like late 90s edgy like edgy shows.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco. I love Rocco.
That could work.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that's how I would like to see it.
How many seasons would you have it go for?
I don't know, like like 3. That's usually how. That's usually how long they go.
3 is like a good. That's a good number to have a show like that. I wouldn't want to go too much further than that.
And again, like you can put all like the dirty jokes in there. Like kids don't get it, but adults
duck tits.
Yeah. Yeah. No duck tits.
No duck tits. Overridden. We've been through enough.
No.
We've been through enough.
It's not.
All right.
What the heck? Anyways, all right. So you choose next, Lucius. Who's going next?
Johnny Joestar, you're up next, bro.
Okie dokie, artichoke. So, I mean, I've never seen the movie, but I definitely watched that thing that just sent me.
Nostalgia critic.
Yeah. So like I saw the duck tits, and like I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that they did that. So I was pretty. I mean, when I saw it to begin with, I mean, like the first initial thought was like, man, why didn't that duck, as soon as he like crash landed on like Earth, like he just died? Could have made like some good duck sauce. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have been okay. It would have been. It would have been some pretty good dinner for a hobo or something. You know, it would have been okay.
You know what he looks like? Like, do you know what that Howard the Duck looks like? He looks like a duck version of Sean Astin. It really does. Like if you look it up, he looks like a duck version.
Hey,
oh my God.
But did you see the glow up he got on the thumbnail? Dude's looking like a buff Taika Waititi now.
It's Giga Quack. It's Giga Quack.
Giga Quack.
Oh my gosh.
Or actually, quack, 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 quack.
All right, let's let Mr. Joestar go back. Back to you, Mr. Joestar. A little bit of sidetrack.
Okay, but I completely 100% agree that it probably should have been better off as a cartoon. That was my idea. It was just basically a cartoon. I was a bit confused because I don't think he said what he was because he just said he was a drunk. So I don't know if he's like a detective, why he's wearing a suit and like smoking
He's just a
cigars. Like,
dude.
is he an actor or
He's
what is
basically
he?
just like your average Joe. Like literally, like
Average Joe.
yeah.
It's like
That
a
is so
average
lame.
Joe.
That
Yeah.
like even that's like so lame. Like, what can you do with that? Like, he has no superpowers. Like, he's just a duck that just like says, "Hey, what's up?"
He's stuck in a
Oh,
world he
To
never
be
made.
fair,
Get
that
it-
is
get-
the
I want to
comic
get it.
origin. The origin of the
I want to
comics,
get
he
into.
is just that.
Oh man, it's just he can't really go off with that much stuff. But the fact that like they introduced like the multiverse is something to actually give it a little bit of hope because yeah, it has this quacky antics. You know what I'm saying? Like it just you
Yeah.
you. He can go to like different universes and have a different thing, or I mean, if he did want to introduce like, I mean, because with that suit, I thought he could have played like a detective, and like my thought would have been like, okay, one thing, it wouldn't be a kid show, it would be an adult. Kind of
Yeah.
like Hit Monkey, because like Hit Monkey like was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good, you
I
know,
want to
and like
watch
they
it.
did it so well.
I was actually
Oh
thinking
man,
that.
it's so funny, and then
I need to finish it, Monkey.
definitely. Oh man, it's really good. I really did enjoy the way that they did that show. But going back to this though, like definitely, I would have loved for it to be like that, where it was just an adult, because this is an adult. This is not a kid. This is an adult duck, and he is going to different, multiverses, and basically in each one, in order for him, kind of like what was that show? A really old school one, like the Leap one, Leap something,
Quantum Leap.
where he. Yeah, Quantum Leap. There you go. Basically something like that, where he had to just basically jump to the next one. So like to the different multiverse and like try to figure out some sort of detective thing to do. So it would have definitely like I could see something like that being way better off than what was shown to me, because like and especially with him trying to hook up with like a chick, I was just like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
Avery, they
That's
are
yeah.
introducing
Leah
like
Thompson.
To be fair, in the comics, they've always put him with like Red Sonja or some like really hot chick, but he doesn't try to get with them. He just partners up
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah, like a sidekick. Like
That's
it's totally that's understandable. Like, and that's the thing is, it's like okay, like I could see him like jumping into universe and like trying to maybe get with the ladies, but then like of course he's a duck, so nobody really takes him seriously.
Yeah, George
but he's
Lucas
still,
took it way too far.
I mean, like I'm just saying, like he could like be that macho man because he is that in his world,
Macho
but
duck.
like he goes in, yeah, like he could just try to be like, oh, I'm like a big stud and I got it all going on, and then he gets ripped out from there, and he ends up like going into different multiverses. So definitely cartoon, adult. And yeah, scrap that crap that I saw for 15 minutes. Somebody was explaining that for 15 minutes. Like, yeah, I totally agree.
I love how we're on the same wavelength of like multiverse stuff. I don't know if it's just the hype from. Yeah, I know that, but like I love how usually he just jumps into 616 and then he kind of stays there for the most part. I love how we're all kind of on the same wavelength of screw that. Let's just have him do quacky stuff. No pun intended. I guess pun intended.
Well,
100% intended.
I mean,
it makes sense though.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Does. Like his first villain that he ever came across in the comics was the what was he called? He was the he was like the tax collector or tax calculator guy. Oh no, he was the cosmic calculator. That was it. He was a guy who like the fate of people's taxes or some shit. Like it was really, really crazy.
All right, so
so
who's going next?
It was really, really crazy.
Cosmic balance sheet.
Who's going next, Mr. Joe Star?
The astral audit.
Well, I guess we can go with Cap. I want to hear what she has to say.
All right. Well, mine's kind of incredibly short, but I just don't think he just should not be in any sort of movie.
She's like, let's stop it right there.
Show, TV, just Like him,
No.
fine, but him in his own world, I'm just like, no. After watching that 15-minute video, of course, I've never seen it either, and I don't. It's like he's just so. Is now nothing redeemable about that movie or about Howard the Duck. I just don't like him.
It's a stinky
Basically,
movie.
so you're saying he basically just wandered off in the back alley of an Asian restaurant and never came back.
He never got back.
You just don't see him. You know,
Yeah.
you probably just one frame and that's it. Like doesn't even need to talk. Just not there.
Miss Cap was like being like, it's gonna be short, and then
guess what, motherfucker?
no for you.
Okay, so
none of this.
how do you feel about the way they've been using him, like in the Guardians and Avengers movies and stuff, like
Yeah,
with
like-
his very brief appearance?
Just fine. Brief.
Okay.
Brief
Yeah.
is fine.
He's still very
With
gross
him,
in
no
those.
words. Don't even worry about it. I don't need that. He doesn't need a full blown series or anything. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you can stay in that little area of no one knows who you are. Stay there.
That's probably what they'll do.
No, they're incredibly short. Don't need to be there.
You're like having none of this.
Nope.
I ain't doing none of it.
Shut it down.
Yeah, shut it down. Exactly. Yeah, shut it down.
down.
All right,
JT,
who's going
what would
next,
you do?
Miss
All right,
Cap?
JT, go ahead.
All right, so again, like Mr. Orman sent us the 15-minute nostalgia critic of the horrible and non-existent, light up movie Howard the Duck. But I'm going to go with a different way. I know that you guys talked about hopping to universes and making a cartoon and everything. I'm going to do a talk show where, like, Howard the Duck is coming to late night TV and like.
Yo, that
it's an
actually sounds
evolving
awesome.
set. It was so like he will actually go to different universes and kind of like interview these like Thanos or like some of the Guardians of the Galaxy that he kind of interacted with in the comic and just like talk about what they do in their everyday lives and he like smokes cigars and drinks and stuff and like that and so like it's gonna be like a raunchy like like talk show where like he can cuss up a storm or whatever he can like just have a great time but also jump into these different multiverses and like interview the good guys and the bad guys and also maybe have like a fight here or two with this like Quack Fu, sort of thing.
God.
I think that'd be like really cool and really interesting so he can get his own like point of view, maybe like teach us how the multiverse works and like what's his thoughts on like how like stuff goes around him. So I think that would be really cool for him just to sit back, inform us, interview people, and just like talk trash to people if he wants to.
Honestly,
he
that
can interview Battle World contestants.
dude, he actually that is something I would never thought of, and it's like so out there, but it sounds it actually sounds like it would work. It sounds right up his alley.
Just work.
Maybe like
I even got your title right here, Galaxies Tonight with Howard the Duck. How about that?
There we go.
Although, what I would say is, what would make it funnier is if he wants to cuss and he keeps trying to, but every time the studio, like bleeps him out.
What the?
Just make it like the Eric Andre show, but just with him.
Oh man.
That's how you do it.
Damn, Marvel, I know you're not listening, but pick that shit up. JT, you got to submit that
Get
to
on
him.
that. You called it today.
Probably
May-
the best idea that's come up so far tonight.
Dang.
May 16th. There we
Yeah, that kind of blew that did blow mine out of the water. That was pretty good. Damn.
I think that, I think that's gonna, because I don't know how I'm gonna go after that, because that just, I
You
mean,
did it, JT.
I thought I had a kind of fun
Let's
idea.
go, yeah.
Damn, so I wish I had like, I realized I don't have any like celebration or positive like sound pad things over here, so I mean, I guess I guess this one's the best one I got.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening.
There you go. That's as close to a round of applause as you got. Everything else is
Oh,
like
man.
shut it down, people screaming
Time for an
no.
upgrade.
Yeah, well, I'm adding as I go. It's just as of now, I don't have any. I realize I don't have any fun positive ones. I only have fun negative ones.
Well, let's hear
They're all
it. What you got?
Oh, my turn. All right. So
Yeah, you go.
I don't know how much our audience is familiar with this series. I know they're familiar probably with Rick and Morty, but I was thinking of doing it like a Smiling Friends Rick and Morty style adult cartoon.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. Yeah.
And I know that Egghead is like the main Ant-Man, or not a main. What am I saying? He's a Ant-Man villain mainly, but I would just because he's a duck, I would say just play on the pun and have him like Egghead be the main villain for like the first season that kind of sets everything into motion because he is like an inventor. So I just feel like he invents something to stupid, like he's trying to invent something to reach into other galaxies and steal people's eggs or something. Something just stupid and silly like that, and he accidentally like miscalculates and ends up bringing Howard the Duck into the universe instead of an egg, a juicy egg from another dimension. He brings in Howard the Duck, and from there on, it's just like wacky adventures with Howard the Duck. He hops throughout the multiverse and such like that, and just meets all like any Marvel character that you could think of. You could pair him with them, and he could either get along with them or not. I know that he has encountered Doctor Strange before, and he surprisingly has some magic manipulation, not to a good level, but Doctor Strange was like, hey, you're onto something, maybe I could teach you. But like have like an episode where he's what's it called, working with Doctor Strange, and they're trying to send him back to his universe, but he keeps quacking up, let's say, and he can't get it right. You could have like an episode where he's with like Moon Knight and his multiple personalities, and like take aspects from like the MCU and have like Mark completely just want to throw this duck over the bridge or something. Yeah, like you guys were mentioning earlier, like a Chinese restaurant. Like he's like, hey, I know this place, you would love it, and then he tries to sell him, but Steve would come out, and Steve would fall in love with Howard the Duck. So you have like Moon Knight having like an internal battle of him trying to. One guy's trying to kill Howard the Duck, and the other guy's trying to like just be friends with him. Stuff like that. You could have an episode where he teams up with a bunch of other, because he usually has like villains that are puns and like the satanic cow or something like that. So just have an episode where he teams up with other animal-based characters like Rocket Raccoon, Throg, Thor Frog, Spider-Ham, something like that. Like have that be like the final episode, because throughout this whole series, the overlining thing, story arc would be like Egghead is like his Sonic's Dr. Eggman. Like Howard the Duck is like the Sonic, and Eggman or Egghead would be like Eggman, Dr. Robotnik, and then he'd be trying to get and beat up Egghead because he's the reason he's going through all this. And so in turn, the Egghead keeps doing stuff that keeps getting in the way, and it sends him through all these different universes and different characters that he has to get to his aid, and it could all lead up to that super animal based characters episode where Spider-Ham comes over from his universe and this and that, and then they all just go beat up the egg-headed man. And I don't know, it's like it would be like a silly, almost kiddie sounding like synopsis, but it would be like really like Johnny Joestar said, like Hit Monkey things. It would have cussing. It would have like ass cheeks. Like I don't know, like Captain America shows his ass cheek, and Howard could be like, "That's America's ass." And it could have. It could have like decapitations and blood.
It could
and
have
guts.
It could have duck tits also.
Yeah, no. We've suffered. No. We've seen enough of those.
Also, I have like another idea is How about just Howard the Duck and Deadpool just going on adventures?
Well, that's what I'm
That's what I
saying. He
was
could
thinking.
meet. He could meet
Like, they
Deadpool.
both go through the
Yeah.
multiverse.
Yeah, but
That'd
that's
be
what I'm
kind of
saying.
funny
Like,
though.
he
Like
could have.
stumble upon like a.
Wait,
All
go
right,
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just like saying really quick, like it would be kind of funny though to stumble upon like, because it's like different universes. So like one, he ends up like maybe meeting another duck person, and she's like a stripper or something, and it'd be
Duckpool.
pretty funny.
It's in the comics.
Okay.
He does become
Okay.
Deadpool.
Yeah, but
Oh, there you
and he
go.
also becomes Iron Duck. He has like an Iron Man
Duck,
suit.
Yep. Spider
Oh,
Duck,
cool.
Iron Duck.
Oh wow.
But yeah, basically any Marvel character Duck. But that's what I'm saying.
Black Lord.
He could work with all these like Deadpools, Moon Knights, even heck like the Incredible Hulk. Imagine just like he has a spell that Doctor Strange told him that makes him like invulnerable for like an hour or half an hour, and throughout that whole half an hour episode, you just have like the Hulk trying to like get rid of him, tossing him across like the U.S. in one swing, and just I don't know, and all like in a similar animation style to like Smiling Friends or Rick and Morty. Like at first glance, you might think it's like a kid's cartoon, and then you look at it and you're like, oh no, that's most definitely not.
I don't know. Cap said otherwise.
Look
What's
here,
that?
Just put him back where he came from. I don't need him.
But okay. But what about this though? What about who would actually make his voice? And you know who I kind of thought? You know who I thought? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just like a throwing him out there, but for some weird reason, I feel like his voice would be Seth Rogen.
Thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that laugh! Yes, it kind of goes with the duck!
They do have a Seth's voice in them already, but yeah, Seth Rogen would be good too.
Seth Rogen.
They got a Seth on there.
Seth Rogen.
I don't know who would you have, Mr. Oyman? Who would you choose?
I like Seth Green. I would keep Seth Green on. I like his voice so much. Once you go duck, you never had a luck.
Man, I would get like
So I
somebody
guess
who's like
that's tough.
Italian or
Was
something.
it once you go quack, you never go back? Forget.
Oh.
Oh man, the more we keep talking about them, as much as these ideas would be fun, Miss Cap's making a stronger argument to be like, put that thing back where it came from.
But
It's one of these Marvel makeovers, you know.
Keep it buried.
just bury it. Be over with and done with. They already did it. Don't need to do it again.
Burns going
I don't know.
I don't
We've
know.
had some pretty good ideas.
Yeah, like these ideas have all been pretty good. I will say, if I had to choose one, I would go with JT. I would choose JT.
Yeah, with a talk show, yeah.
If I
Yeah, I don't know.
had to.
That just could go in so many different directions. It would just be interesting. Hell, they could even incorporate it into the actual MCU and have them be like,
Do a short.
yeah, be like let's say before the big
MCU
Secret
short.
Wars event or something. Kind of have like a couple of episodes on Disney Plus dedicated to him, basically recapping through interviews of what has happened to that point.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, no. So
Feige,
All
get
practical.
our numbers, Feige. We'll pitch you.
yeah.
Feige.
Yeah, we got a whole team over here of people who are would be pretty good on your team, Feige. Just
Hey, we
give us a
made
holler.
Andrew and Toby happen. We could make this happen.
Yeah, we can.
It'll be quacktaculous.
Oh God.
Quack, quack.
All right, so I think the audience and ourselves have had enough of these. What's it called? Duck puns.
Quack dicks.
Yeah,
God.
about quacking done
That's
with
the
it.
last one.
There you go. So I don't know.
You
I
gotta be
think that.
quacking me.
Oh man, we already called the last one. We already called the last one. No more duck puns up until the end of this episode. All right, so I think that's a pretty good.
Otherwise, we sound like a bunch of quacks if we do. So.
Geez, Lucius, you're about to get kicked out. You're not even gonna get to say goodbye if you keep it up. I'll kick you out, man. I'll kick you out.
Howard the Duck, but he was a total quack.
You two, I'm gonna have to find a new co-host. Get out.
Kick him out.
All right, so let's go ahead and call it a night. So thanks again, panel, and my co-host for joining me on another episode of Marvel Mondays. And of course, thanks to you, the audience, for just checking us out. If you did like what you heard, feel free to hit that subscribe and like button. It doesn't cost anything, and you'll probably get some sort of physical activity, honestly, moving a finger or two.
Oh yeah.
But
I'll give you some. I'll give you
Wow.
some activity.
well,
Okay.
I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It's like extra work, man. But
They're not.
Two
They're not.
clicks.
They're
You're
not
burning in
Redditors.
1 calorie. Clicking.
yeah, you burn that extra calorie, man. It's totally worth it.
Hey, they're
But
not Redditors, you know.
anyways, on other news, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we are going to be having most of these episodes show up on like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So be sure to check us out there and give us a like and rating on those. I will say we are missing episodes 3 and 4. I'm working on getting those on there, but right now we're going to have episodes 1, 2, 5, and 6. And pretty soon episode 7 on there as well. So thank you for rocking out with us, and until next time, of course. Y'all want to say goodbye? No more quacks.
You know how